Hey everyone, it's Suzi here, and today we're playing a Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we found a survey from the Discord where you can get some free rewards, 100 diamonds, and share your thoughts about IPs. Help influence future collaborations and in-game content. Might as well do it, and let's do it together. Alright, so this survey only takes a couple minutes. It says you get 100 diamonds. I think the diamonds come a bit later on, though. You don't get them instantly because this is not one of those in-game surveys that links immediately. But you'll have to come to the form, which I'll link in the description in the pinned comment. It says it only takes a few minutes, and the duration is until through the 31st of December. So if you're watching this video, make sure you click that link and do the little survey as well. And players who complete it will receive 100 diamonds as a reward after the event within 15 work days. And then it does restrict what the servers are included. Okay. You'll first fill out your in-game ID and server number, and then let's see what we got here. So which fairy tale collection do you recognize the most? Out of all of these, my personal thought is Grimm, because I really liked the Brothers Grimm. Wizard of Oz is probably the most famous, but I don't like it. Sorry, not sorry. I'm sure I know something about Andersen or 1001 Nights. It doesn't sound familiar at all, but maybe if I saw a character or a story from something related, I'd be like, oh, okay, that. But yeah, I don't know. Which of the following stories do you like the most? Select up to 5. Oh, this is fun. Like a badass Hansel and Gretel would be cool. So the basics: Snow White, Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, Frog Prince, 10 Musicians of Bremen, Little Brave Tailor, The Six Swans, Little Mermaid, Ugly Duckling, Little Match Girl, The Emperor's New Clothes, Thumbelina, Steadfast Tin Soldier, The Snow Queen, Princess and the Pea, Nightingale, Red Shoes, and 1001 Nights and Wizard of Oz. Okay, so 5 of these. Let's go with the Princess and the Pea. How would they... that makes me curious. And then otherwise we'll go to some big ones. Maybe the classics of Little Red Riding Hood. You got the Big Bad Wolf. You got Little Red Riding Hood. It's cute. It could be fun. It could be sexy as well, but it's a little girl story, so hopefully not too sexy. But Rapunzel could also be a really interesting one with the crazy long flowing hair. I am a fan of the Little Mermaid, though. So, which one do I want to get rid of? No, Little Red Riding Hood. Let's get rid of that. That can be boring. Let's go with a mermaid. No more mermaids. All right, which adaptation approach do you prefer for classic stories and games? Stay mostly true to the original story with a distinct visual or style twist. A major reinterpretation keeping only the key or core ideas, or complete reimagining. I think you stay mostly to what the story is, just within your style of the game. That's what I like personally. You know, it reminds me of King Arthur, Legends Rise, where they had the character Ueret, who looked like a gender bender, maybe I think female, with I said her in the story, so I'm not being insensitive. And then she was like a mage. But the character of Ueret is like a dude who's like the father to Lancelot or something. Like, it made no sense, or somebody. But yeah, it was like the father to Lancelot or Isolde, or I don't even remember now. And a man who was like a knight or something. It didn't, like, nothing at all related. I'm like, you just took an aim? I guess it's kind of like Artemis in Watcher of Realms. That's like a dude with a gun and a crow and a nothing like Artemis, who you'd think of mythology. That's a weird one, right? Oh, and that's it. That's the survey. But yeah, I really do think games should stay true to the stories to some extent. Now, that depends on what you're doing. Like, I guess I could argue maybe I'm not, maybe it's this. There's gotta be, I think, like, it's like Godforged with Fateless, trying to find a balance in between the first two. Like your original takes on a character, but they still need to be recognizable. Major and reinterpretation. See this? I feel like these are the same. A major reinterpretation or a complete reimagining are pretty close. I feel like there needs to be some in between of these two. Keeping only key characters or core ideas. Or a distinct visual stylistic twist. Like, yeah, I guess that's the hard part. If you're doing something like Godforge and Fate with Fateless, you're creating your own story and your own world that is it's gonna be its own completely separate story where there is gonna be inspiration and backstory based on what people probably know of those characters, and they're gonna be somewhat true to their nature, but the story could go off in a completely different direction. But how does that work with Watcher of Realms? I don't know. I can't decide how that works with Watcher of Realms. Right? How does that work, guys? So, I guess a mostly true to the story would be like the Dracula. Okay. And then they have their own, they made their own version of Dracula in Van Helsing. A major reinterpretation with only key characters or core ideas. I don't know which would be a good example of that. The complete reimagining, creating a world inspired by both story and game, technically, that could be said for Godforge. But with Watcher, I would say maybe that would be like the character of Artemis. How... Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna go with an IP, though, that's super recognizable as a collaboration type event, it should feel familiar. Like Necha and Sung Wukong, right? The real characters. And they need to feel familiar to be relatable. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna say stay mostly true to the story. And that's it. That was the survey. It was a very short one. But yeah, it really depends on the game and the context. And that's even true within Watcher of Realms. If we're talking about just adding a new character to the game, like if you're just gonna add Hansel and Gretel to the game just in general with no event or theme related to them, like it's not a fancy special event, it's just there's two new characters, it's Hansel and Gretel, that's cool. They could have their own completely different twist and it could be unique. But then I'm being a hypocrite saying what I did not like about them using the name Uaret. And King Arthur. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How does this work for Watcher of Realms? How does it work? How, if they were to do Hansel and Gretel, do you want the lore to reflect a little bit of the true keeping to the story? Or should it be completely different because we're in our own world of Taya? Or somewhere in between? Or, yeah, Snow White. Do you want to look at the character and be like, okay, that's Snow White? I feel like that might be part of it, right? You want to be able to look at... Like, if you saw a character pop up and be like, whoa, that's so cool. Is that, like, a Snow White interpretation? Or that's so cool. Is that a whatever interpretation? Even if they didn't label it as so, you want there to be some familiarity. Yeah. I don't know which, based on their answers, was really my best reply for that then, but we did the survey. Yay, we'll get a free summons in the future, or free gems in the future. There you go, guys. Though this was an easy, short one for sure. And hope you guys had some good pulls this past weekend. And I'll see you in the next video.